Welcome to a video where I can help you figure out if you need a game in 10 minutes or less. Good morning, afternoon, and evening, everybody. My name is miahtheking, and never forget, an apple a day keeps the doctor away. At least, it does if you throw it hard enough. Now then, thank you so much for deciding to check out my video. I really appreciate it. Today we're taking a look at a game just released on Steam called Goblin Cleanup. It's exactly what you're expecting it to be. Yet another clone recreation of the late great visceral cleanup game that was really popular back in the day. Developed by Chrysalu Games, hope I'm pronouncing that right, and published by Team 17. Released in early access and selling for $20. So what even is this game really, and is it even worth it? Well, let's find out. So basically, you're a goblin, and you have to follow along behind adventurers and clean up the nasty messes they leave behind, and that's it. How do I know that? Well, the game didn't really tell me that. I learned about that from reading the Steam store page, because the game didn't tell me shit. So without further ado, let's get into the actual good and the bad of the game, starting off with the good. Up first for the positives is the gameplay, and since this is what you'll be doing for the entirety of your experience, it's a pretty good positive to have. Pretty big one. It's just like all the other cleaners though, so don't get your hopes up expecting something new or innovative here. However, the mechanics and overall gameplay feel is still pretty decent. To clean up blood, you have to use slimes, which you stab with your little pointy fork thing. You have to dodge traps still active in the dungeon, replace messed up furniture, and recharge evil devices like traps or wall lamps or whatever, while also needing to power down some mechanics like a doorway so that you can get through. As you play, you'll gain levels and earn in-game currency, which you can use to purchase character customizations in the game, although be forewarned, it's basically non-existent at this time. You can pretty much just play as a female goblin, and buy a very select few cosmetics for her. I'm sure a lot of people are going to enjoy that. Maybe a few other things down the line, but it's mostly empty. The gameplay is smooth and makes sense, for the most part, and let's not forget the online co-op functionality included here, so you and your buddies can hop on together and make fools of yourselves. However, I do want to point out that I did not have friends to play with. I played it solo, and so this review of the game is based on my solo experience, not on what it could be. Just going to go ahead and put that out there for no particular reason. Next up for the positives was the stability, at least for me. Now, I did experience a few frame rate drops while I was choosing levels, but otherwise, personally, I didn't experience any other kind of bugging, crashing, freezing, or anything. Like, it ran really smoothly for me, and overall felt really comfortable to play. While we're at it, let's also talk about the controls and the mechanics too, as they also felt natural, cohesive, which further increased my overall enjoyment. You have to use the mimics to clean up bits of meat lying around and to dispose of slimes that have fulfilled their purpose, but be careful as the mimics can eat you too, thus adding more blood and meat chunks to your list of cleanup chores. Honestly though, I do love the slime mechanic in the game and thought it was really interesting. But yeah, the game only dropped frames on me during level change, otherwise it never did anywhere else. So yeah, the stability was really good overall, and I was actually surprised for an early access game. But unfortunately, okay, I gotta be honest, even if my viewers out there hate me, I always try to stay as honest as possible, and I just didn't enjoy this game. Even the gameplay started to feel repetitive and boring and lacking a lot of deviation or diversity in what you could do after about an hour. Mop, reorganize, refill, rinse and repeat over and over again while dodging traps. Maybe if I was playing with friends I would have had more fun, but overall I got bored very quickly, which means we're moving now on to the negatives. However, before that, if you're finding this video entertaining or at least informative, then I humbly ask you to support the growth of my channel. Liking, commenting, subscribing, and sharing my video online all helps with the overall analytical growth of my channel, and every single one of you is influential in this, so I'd really appreciate any and all support you could give. Thank you. Okay, so now let's just move on to the things that I personally had a problem with this game, and ultimately you could sum it all up into 5 words. Too early for early access. Basically, every problem I have is simply from the game not being finished, or at least I hope that's the reason for the issues that I have. But let me go further into depth so you can understand and you can make the decision yourself. Involving the sound, the only thing that sounds decent here is the music. The sound effects, they just sound standard and cliche. There's zero voice acting and zero dialogue, period. I mean, you could have at least tried to make your game charming or funny, but no, there's nothing here at all to indicate charm or fun. Even dialogue without voice acting would have been better than this, because it just makes the game feel empty and pointless. Hell, I only know I'm a goblin from the name of the game and the brief 10-second cutscene that played in the beginning, which by the way showed a male and female goblin, yet you can only play as a female for some reason. But anyway, back to my main point. The sound was just below average overall, but it did have decent music. As for the tutorial, what tutorial? There's barely one here. It just teaches you the most basic of bare bones gameplay controls, which honestly you could have easily figured out on your own in less time. But the actual stuff you needed to know, the more complicated stuff, yeah, they don't teach you that shit. Like, what the hell do I do with the cat that keeps sucking out all the energy I put into the torches? Now, I did figure out that what you're supposed to do is put him in this little box thing near a respawn point, but the game didn't tell me that. I had to figure it out on my own. And there's tons of things like that here where the game just doesn't help. In fact, I'm fairly certain that there's not even a single writer working here, which is a large negative for me simply because it shows laziness and a lack of dedication or care for your product. How do I know that? Because what is written here is super brief and barely even considered writing, and then the rest of the game is only shown through pictures, no words. Or worse, they'll show you a book filled with words, but not of any language on Earth, just gibberish, unknown language, probably Goblin or something, I don't frickin' know. I mean, this is just sloppy and lazy, and of course confuses the hell out of me. Sure, you can obviously see from some of the pictures what they're trying to get across, and that's fine, but that's also the point. The point is that they were too lazy to actually write anything in this damn game. And so, yeah, in conclusion, the writing was just awful and non-existent, and the tutorial was absolute shit. Didn't teach me anything I couldn't have figured out in 5 seconds on my own. Moving on to graphical design, well, it's not awful, it's not great either, but I still wanted to make mention of it. At first glance, it made me think of like original Xbox games. It was just fairly unimpressive and not really inspired or interesting at all, lacking in detail, lacking in contrast, lacking in shadow quality or animation quality. I could keep going. Like I said, it wasn't awful. Like, I don't want you to think I think it was bad, it just wasn't great either. Then you've got the price tag, and with how little there actually is here, I'm actually a little offended that they asked for more than $15 for this. I mean, sure, $20 isn't that much more, it isn't a lot of money, period, but after I actually got into the game and played it for a little while, I can't see any single solitary reason for this game to be worth more than $15 in its current state. They couldn't even get the price tag correct. The idea isn't original or creative, it's the exact same thing we've seen 100 times before with only a different skin, so it's lacking in originality or creativity. And you know what, honestly, I'm just going to sum it up here because I just don't want to really talk about it anymore. The gameplay is not bad, but it's highly limited, boring, and repetitive. The game was stable, at least for me, so it has that going for it, but since I had no one to play with, I couldn't even judge its online stability, so that's a mystery for you out there. But everything else with the game was lacking in some way, shape, or form. I mean, I'm honestly trying really hard to understand what people might find enjoyable about this game when there are so many better versions of this out there. Now, honestly, I feel like this game, this is a game that definitely just requires more than one person, right? So like if you have a couple of friends, then you might actually get some enjoyment out of this game. It might actually be fun, from the accidental deaths and the confusion and the chaos and whatnot whilst moving through dungeon traps, but overall, to me, the game was severely lacking in pretty much every regard. If it had charming, funny, witty dialogue or writing, if it had more stuff to do, if it was a bit more hectic and chaotic, then perhaps this game would have been worth talking about. But as of this particular moment, I personally see zero reason to invest in this game or give it a recommendation. There's no wacky music, there's no wacky NPCs, there's zero writing, there's no friends for me to play with, there's no unique, original, or fun gameplay mechanic, there's just nothing here, which ultimately all leads back to what I said earlier. It's too early for early access. The game needed more time to cook and get more content added in. As of this moment, obviously I do not recommend investing in this game. The devs simply didn't put enough into the game for its initial release. I don't know why, but it's going to end up hurting them. Perhaps if it had just one really good thing going for it, just one unique or funny or engaging thing in it, I may have changed my mind. And who knows, maybe it's because I played by myself. But in all honesty, I was just bored out of my mind within the first hour and have zero reason or desire to push further to see if there's anything else here. Like I said, perhaps if you were playing with friends it'd be more fun, but as a single player experience, it was boring as hell. And yeah, I know, it's early access, but when you've been doing this as long as I have, or you've been on Steam as long as I have, you learn fairly quickly that early access doesn't really mean shit. I've seen hundreds of games released in early access having bucket loads of content and tons of promise. This is a demo. They should have released this as a demo to showcase the start of the game, and then released it maybe 6 months down the line with a price tag after building up the hype and after adding in a lot more content. But instead, they got greedy, either the publishers or the devs, I don't know which, and they just went ahead and posted it to charge for money, which is another thing I don't condone, because what am I investing in? What am I buying here? What is the appeal here? So, my overall conclusion and recommendation is that this game just isn't worth your time or your money. There's just nothing here. There's nothing there. There's nothing that I can think of that would encourage you to spend money and waste time on. Not when there are so many better cleaner games out there. Go play Crime Scene Cleaner. It has story, depth, and actual dialogue. Or go play Visceral Cleaner. At least it's finished developing. Even if you're super interested in this idea and you're super curious to try it out, I'd still encourage you to either wait for a discount or wait half a year to see if it develops any actual personality or fun elements. I mean, here's the thing. I'm not trying to be mean. I'm not taking sides. I'm not being biased. I legitimately found myself bored playing the game. If you played this game by yourself and you had fun with it, then I encourage you, as long as you're respectful, to please tell me in the comments below, why was this so much fun? Why do you think people should spend their money on this? Why do you think they deserve the investment? Is it creative? No. Is it original? No. Is it funny? No. Does it have any potential to be fun? Sure, it could, but I don't find that alone to be a reason to want to invest in a game. So please let me know how far off base I am, because there's nothing here. You want to know why I'm not telling you more about what you can do or what I experienced or everything else like I do in my normal videos? It's because there was nothing else here. All right? I do this not just to help you guys out there, but I'm also doing this to help them. Keep that in mind. They need to know that their game needs some work before they be charging people money like this, though I may come across as harsh. Regardless, that's all the time I got for today, everybody. Thanks so much for watching, with a special thanks to those of you who stuck around to the end. If you have any questions or concerns, please let me know in the comments down below. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, and I can't wait to see you all again on my next adventure. So until then, I bid you all farewell.